So today's dart is focused on. Good morning, everyone. sorry. Today's dart is focused on breathing to create breadth. And you might find release in this. You might find something comes out in this. But I'm gonna just show you a breathing technique that you could use while you're in these positions, and that is that you're going to find points of resistance, and then you're going to breathe in to that point of resistance, and then breathe in just a little bit more. And it's not like that if it hurts, you're not going to go right. I'm going to defeat this. You're just going to suspend there. And then you breathe out just to where it's comfortable. Then you breathe in just a little bit and then breathe out to where it's comfortable. Good morning, Julie. So the movements themselves are not very complicated. There's one movement that is that you could say is slightly new. We're going to start off in this position, do some sensory work where you're breathing to emit, release within senses, which will be fun. And then you're going to do some torso listening and release. So if I breathe in here, just while because the reason we're doing this is because you breathe 20,000 times a day, just on average. I counted yesterday, I was just under 20,000.
How many times?
I breathed in 19,872 times. No. So
At night. That's a lot of focus.
it was intense. It may have affected my breathing. Anyway, so this is to help recognize habits of breathing. So as I breathe in, I'm gonna listen to where I'm holding, particularly down this area, and then I'm gonna breathe out. So as I breathe in, I'm going, okay, there it is. There's a suspension where I'm finding it, and I can use my hands to say, there you are. I'm just going to rest my hands on there. Imagine it being supported by the floor. And then I'll breathe out. Spreading, of course. I'll breathe in just a little bit and breathe out again. And so we're going to do that for a bit, lying on the floor here. And going to think about the major muscle groups in that position. We're not going to be here for very long. And then you're going to let the hand come out and flip her out. And you'll go over onto the side, and we'll do it on one side, flip her out, do it on the other side. And the fun thing, I almost forgot. There is this place where you're going to reach across here and follow your heart so that the rib cage just on the diagonal will sink into the floor. You're going to sink that side, then do that on that side. And you can use this hand to encourage and feel for where you want to. Yep. Then you'll do it on the side, on the other side. And then this is the slightly different one. So in this position, you're not doing a cobra. It's not yoga. You're going to find this kind of the easiest place where your abdomen is sitting on the floor and your spine is lengthening. And so you're going to breathe in to feel the resistance here. You're going to do that all the way down. So your rib cage begins to widen as you come down. Your flock of ribs comes to land on the shore of the floor. Yeah? No, lots and lots and lots. Thanks for that question. That was a great question, Hal. Lots and lots and lots. So, like, even here, I can think my head lengthening forward. I can even shiggle a little bit to readjust. Yeah, it's fun because as you do it, you're like going, "Wow, I held how much do I hold that?" And then oh dang, then we do the sliding back with the head on the floor. I'm just going to show you this real quick because I skip this quite often. Bring this this foot hand under here, your top foot, and you're going to maintain contact with the rug, and you're going to send this diagonally. If there's a corner of the room, you're sending this to the corner of the room. And in this position, this is where you can also play with the same breathing thing. And you can raise this and roll your head onto one side, raise this, roll your head onto that side, and even look between your legs. I think Ruthie likes this one a lot. So one of the funnest things about that as well is as you roll, pause to listen to the movement of the bones in the head, the movement of the lengthening of the neck, and breathe into that as well. So it's always about breathing to find expansion and release from how you habitually hold. That's a long explanation, but I think it's I think it's important to understand that because I do things all the time and I breathe while I'm doing things, I never take a chance to go, okay, how does the breath inform the movement, and what is the habit of the way that I hold my breath when I make the movement? Okay, good luck. I'll see you on the other side. If you're cold, hopefully I'll come and bring the heater closer to you and aim the heater at you. If you just raise your hand, and I'll go. Yeah.
Breathing. We're going to place our hand when we feel something stuck
Yeah.
or not moving.
Yes.
Like if this stays up, then we're going to kind of think about, oh, why isn't it?
Exactly. You're administering that that sensation to yourself. So it's a way of bringing your mind to identify that part of your body. And once you get the idea of that hand finding that part, you can then begin to use your mind's hand to wander around. Yeah. Yes, I can turn them down. I also have two more towels. So if anyone wants, you can have an extra towel to you. You okay? You okay? Yeah. Yeah. You okay?
I'll take it.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so the first thing to do is to follow Raymond Dart's instigations for making contact with the floor. And as I go through all of this, I'm going to come and use my hands. And if you don't want me to use my hands, you're going to tell me to sod off. So we're going to practice that now. I'll say, is that all right if I use my hands? And you're going to say, sod off, James. You ready? Here we go. Is that all right if I use my hands? It's great. You don't have to say that, but it's just practicing having permission. Okay. So just bring your attention to, oops, not that one. Yeah, this is quite good fun, that the lights as means of us. So the point where the back of your head comes in contact with the floor. And when the back of the head comes in contact with the floor, just going to use your breath, the out breath, to release further into the floor. And as you release into the floor, you can also bring your mind's eye to the muscles of your face relaxing in response. And with that breath, as you bring your awareness to the breath, now have a mind for the undulation of the flock of ribs and how that extends all the way up through the spine to that point in the back of the head. So the in-breath, there's a certain degree of preparation. And we talked about that last week, the ready, get, set, go, which is okay. And then on the out breath, you're just going to allow that to release into the floor. Is that okay if I use my hands? And then you're going to bring your mind's eye to the 2 points of the shoulder blades, either shoulder blades. And you're going to imagine lengthening and releasing between those 2 points of the shoulder blades. The contact with the ground gives permission to release. And then there are the 2 points of the elbows, and they are telling you about the length of your arm. From the tips of the fingers all the way up to that point at the back of the head. And so those 3 points either side create a triangle of support. And the more that you can imagine the triangle of support, the more that you are telling your body that you are in a state of safety right now. And then you can bring your mind's eye to the 1, 2, or 3 points, or however many points there are, of the pelvis coming into contact with the floor. And that idea of the stability of the pelvis in contact with the floor, you can imagine the pelvis just melting open. That set of bones that make up the idea of a big solid pelvis, those bones are given to the idea of very easeful and breatheful movement. Is that okay if I use my hands? There is safety and solidity as the root part of the spine, and like a redwood, that strength means that there is an ability to bend and bow in the wind. So there is an ability to move. And as that root part of your spine melts away, it provides the root system for the femur and the leg in order to have solidity. So you can imagine the femur coming in there and going, yeah, I am strong. And in that strength, there is lengthening. And then there's the 3 points of either foot. The point behind the big toe, the point in contact behind the little toe. Is that okay if I use my hands? The point of the heel, those 3 points providing a stable 3-pronged stool out of which the lower leg emerges. And as that root gets secure, so the security of the lower leg and the security of the upper leg means that there's a point at which the knees happily move away from the body. Not that you're making them go away, it's just that they move away from the body because they are supported. Okay, so now I'm going to play with breathing a little bit. There's certain schools of thought that say you should never play with your breathing. There's certain things that go, oh, there's particular ways of breathing. I have a feeling that what we're looking for is how you breathe. And your body being the expert, your body is the seat of all knowledge. So, do some exploration with your hands. So, it's going to have bring your sensitivity, your mind's eye to your lower torso. And you're going to, on the in-breath, just have a scan for where there is any kind of resistance on the in-breath. And when you come to understand where that tension is, just going to put your hand there. It could be both hands or just one hand. You're just going to put your hand there. You're going to take a little breathe in and see how that feels. Let that breath in be there for a moment, and then breathe in a little bit more. And then breathe out. And take a tiny breath in and breathe out a little bit more. And if you feel that there is release in that, then see where else in the torso you can find that, in the lower torso. And just to say that, then it may be that ideas or thoughts or emotions appear as you do this. And I invite you just to let that breath inform what that brings to you, and then as you breathe out, just let that move past. So you acknowledge it, but the breath is a way of allowing it to move on. So keep exploring. So as you find points of tension, let the hand rest on that point of tension. And then you can breathe accordingly. To breathe into that tension, breathe in a little bit more. And breathe out. Take a tiny breath and breathe out a little bit more. And I'm going to stop talking now so that you can just bring your mind's eye to this journey. And when you've finished with your lower abdomen, then also invite the same thing in the upper abdomen and see if you can feel how the same thing affects the ribs that go right the way into the spine. I say I'm going to stop talking, but there's also the idea of you as a three-dimensional person. So as you put your hands on yourself, you can imagine your hands invite the mind's eye to go all the way through the body, through into the ground. So you invite support from the planet. Is that okay if I use my hands, Katie? Also, if you find yourself in a particular place and you want to stay there and listen to that place, then by all means, just have at it, be in that place. It could be that that place leads you to another place. It's okay if I use my hands. There's also, just want to bring your attention to what thoughts occur while you're in this position. What feelings occur? What stories occur? What beliefs occur? And you can use the breath to allow that to move away or to release for the time being. Or invite a new feeling so that you understand you have choice over this state of breath, this state of held or not held, I'm just going to do this real quick. You can allow your senses to engage with the space. So play with the same thing with your senses. So as you listen and hear, you take a breath, you breathe in a little bit more, then breathe out. Take a little breath and breathe out a little bit more. And you apply the same thing to each of the senses. If you are safe in this room, and if you are allowing yourself release in this room, then maybe you end up on the in-breath focusing in a particular way with the eye or the ear or the nose or the mouth, the taste buds. And then on the out breath, maybe the eye widens, maybe the nose is more receptive, maybe your taste is more receptive. Yeah. Okay, so you're going to let one hand drift up towards an ear, the opposite ear. And as that hand drifts up, you're just going to allow the rib cage of that side to come up off the floor. Just by turning the heart towards the direction of that hand, just a little bit, so that the rib cage on that side comes into contact with the floor on the other side. Yeah. And then you're going to use the free hand to come into contact with the rib cage. And you're just going to encourage breathing into that side. So it's the same thing about looking for resistance on that side. And take a breath. See if you can sense the resistance. And then on the out breath, you're going to let that resistance go. See if you can hear it change. Is that okay if I use my hands out? And then just take a little time in that position. A little time listening. Listening for lengthening. And then roll back and onto your back. And just, I invite you just to feel the difference from one side to the other. And then you can allow the opposite hand to come to the opposite shoulder. And let the heart follow. So you come up onto the rib cage, and as you roll over to that side, there's the idea, Dart's idea of the gravity being the informant of everything you do. So there's the 4 different ways of moving. There's brushing, pressing, unfurling or rolling. Yeah, and as you come onto that side, I'm just going to do the same thing of looking for resistance in that situation. What is being held on? And then you're gonna, as you look to the other side, you're going to see if you can see what's on the other side, hear what's on the other side, and extend the hand up. So you're going to roll completely onto your side this time. I would say the other side. Yeah. Just let that hand come from around the cheek and extend up over the head. So you can lie on that arm. Yeah, you're doing it right, James. It's groovy. It's all right. Yeah. And so the ribs on that side. This is a fun exploration. You can use the top arm. Yeah, get that. Yeah, use the top arm to explore the ribs and where you're being held in there. Yeah. Oh, is that right? Can I use my hands? Some great explorations going on. This is awesome. Is that okay if I use my hands, Barbara? And I neglected to say that as you do this as well, there is the relationship between the breath and the pelvis here, that as you've rolled over onto the side, there is, of course, movement in the pelvis, and you can observe what different tensions happen in the lower part of the pelvis, the pelvic floor, the large muscles of the butt. You can let those, through breath, be informed to release. It's okay if I use my hands. And you can begin to bring to your mind's eye the idea that there is something wonderful over on the other side. It's all right if I use my hands. And you can begin to roll over onto the other side. Yeah. Very nice movements. Yeah. It's okay if I use my hands. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't be interrupted. And here as well, you can also bring your mind's eye to possible tensions in the gut, just swishing around. It's okay if I use my hands. And then you're just going to gently and very easily, still being mindful of how it affects your breath, you're going to come on to your front. And evolutionarily speaking, so now you're becoming a an early amphibian. And you can very gently shunt yourself back onto your towel. And you have your elbows, your hands will be just next to your head. And then following the top of your head, it's going to come up, I would say, onto your belly using your arms as supports. So let your contact with the floor on your elbows and also through your pelvis and your legs just allow you to come up off the floor. So you're looking at maybe the base of the chair. It doesn't need to be that high up. It's not a cobra. Just until perhaps your sternum comes up off the floor. But if that's not as far as you feel comfortable coming off the floor, then that's fine. And then in that position, you can use the floor and gravity to inform the your tummy and the state of your lower ribs. So it's the same thing. It's and this I found fun from the point of view of the lower lumbar. You can imagine that as you breathe, the lower lumbar is you're just going to sense where there is some particular place of heldness, and just allow that to be, to look for lengthening in that state with the breath. And then you're going to gradually unfurl back across the floor. So just allow gravity to take your rib cage, to allow your flock of ribs to come into landing. And this can be nice and slow. Oh yeah, we're not doing that yet. Barbara. Hang on, I'm going to just put this under here, so as you're not breathing in carpet. Yeah. And so as you use the breath unfurling across the floor, you can even imagine the top joints as you come into contact with the floor. The top joints, the cervical joints right at the top of the neck, unfurling in order to bring the forehead in contact with the floor. And then you breathe there just for a moment. You're going to bring your hands just under your armpits, and you're going to use your top feet to engage with the floor, and you're going to send your pelvis away at right angle, at a 45-degree angle to the back, and let the forehead, yes, yes, yes. That's great, Barbara. And you might have to readjust your hands as you come back. Beautiful. Yeah. And as you come back into that position, you still imagine that your back is magnetized to the ceiling. And then you can begin to experiment with rolling around with the very top joint, the top of the head. So as you're so mobile, just press down on the here so that the amount of connection with it. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Beautiful. And once you've experimented in the halfway place, wonderful, great. Then see if you can send your tail further back. You send your tail further back, then you might be able to get more of the head or the top of the head in contact with the floor. And you can have a good old roll around with the top of the head, the side of the head. Beautiful. And still coming into contact with where you find resistance and where you can breathe. And then I'm going to invite you to press down on your hands to extend the back and the back of the head up to the ceiling so that you come into an all fours crawling position. And the elbows are, as much as possible, going to be sent back towards the folded knee so that your elbows are not pointed out to the side. Your elbows are pointed into you. Yes, and then you can begin to crawl towards the chair to come up. Okay, I'm just going to bring the chair around for you, Julie. Now, as you come to the chair, I found this personally very rewarding. As you come to the chair, as you rest the hand on the chair, it's another opportunity to sense resistance and breathe into it. There is a diagonal here that you can listen to as you come up. So each limb that you bring into contact with the act of coming up, you can ask the body about resistance and breathe into that resistance. There will be a point when you can spin the chair around and use the back of the chair to come into a position of mechanical advantage, where you're sending the pelvis away behind you. And you can breathe into the lower part of the pelvis. And now you can use the mind's eye to continue with the release of the larger muscle groups. See if you can sense your breath in the soles of your feet as you come to standing. See if you can feel the act of breathing into your feet. And then you can take a walk. As you take a walk, you can also bring your mind's eye to the beginning of the lesson and see if you can allow your walk to tell you where you used to hold and where you would now want to release from that hold. Let what your exploration has done to inform you about release be manifest here when you're standing up. Have a great day.